mono black aggro. So this deck's been tearing up a whole bunch of stuff. It was a number of slots in the 6-1 or better deck list from the Invitational. Someone said it was 9 out of the top 32 slots in the PTQ this past Friday. Basically, this deck is playing some recursive threats in Bloodsoaked Champion and Scrapheap Scrounger to crew up Smuggler's Copter here. And then we've got Night Market Lookout and Knight of the Ebon Legion here as other efficient 1-mana creatures. We've got Murderous Rider as a removal spell that also crews Smuggler's Copter. Rankle as a big bit of pressure at the top end. And then one thing you'll notice I've done here is I've got 16 lands over here, but I've got 8 more over here. So this is a 24 land aggressive deck, but in reality, 8 of our lands are more spells that happen to tap for mana, which is super powerful. A couple other people noted we've got a bunch of copies of Urborg here. Urborg plus Mutavault lets you play double black spell on 2 if those are only 2 lands, which is important because generally speaking, you want to go 1 mana spell into double 1 mana spell on 2. Drawing a second Urborg, while it can be awkward sometimes because they're legendary, triggering Revolt by playing a second Urborg to make your fatal pushes a little bit better is fine. I think this deck can be made, I think splashing Once Upon a Time in this deck is super reasonable, and that's something I would recommend doing if Once Upon a Time again does not get banned this week. I'm hoping they eventually ban that card so we can stop talking about doing stuff like that. But yeah, basically any 1 or 2 color creature deck in Pioneer and Standard right now, you should be splashing green to make your deck more consistent. Yeah, I think Skywhaler Shot could be a card worth testing. That card's fine. The downside of having Urborg as a straight... It's not a straight dead card. It's still a Lotus Petal. Straight dead is not accurate. I'm mulligan that. It just doesn't do anything. Punish. Can I have the first hand back? I think if I ask really nicely, they'll give me the first hand back. Oh, you know what? I should probably lead on Mutavault here and then just smack them for 2 on 2. Yeah, that's 10 out of 10 what I should have done. 10 out of 10 should have played this one and then just smack them. So I am down 2 points of damage here that I otherwise have. I'm doing well, Belisar. Life is swell. And they plus this so it doesn't die to Mutavault. So now we just get to Murderous Rider this. Swift End it, whatever you want to call it. If you're a black-based deck, should there just be at least 1 Urborg? Not always. If you have double black spells and multiple swamps, probably. But, like, there's a lot of decks in this format that just don't want to play basic lands. And they'll probably plus this up again here, otherwise it dies to Mutavault. So we'll get to Murderous Rider this one, too. Thanks for the half a year, Zeph. Yeah, you know, bans pending. I am definitely playing Arena again next week. Well, those are cards. I guess I'll take this one. They're a Fires deck. So if you look at my schedule on my website, I'm playing in the Twitch Rivals tournament next week for sure. And then how much we plan to do past that is going to depend on what the bands look like. They are adding Historic with some real support to Arena with the patch on Thursday next week. So if they mess up Standard, we can still play Arena by playing some Historic, which will be great. Really want to draw an untapped land here so we can Rankle plus Mutavault to kill the Stephrame. That's sick. I burst out laughing. I sure you to move their hand to check out their lands. Yep. Just mono things. Is this mono black deck just great? Yeah, it is, Bob. It had a ton of results from the Moto PTQ. Pretty sure we're just like, I just like 9 them. I think I'm just gonna 9 them. I think I'm just saying nothing. I don't want to draw them into a red source here. Settle? No, they've got a bunch of cards in their hand they can't cast. You know, there's no fear in this dojo, chat. Our dojo does not contain fear. Ain't nobody got time to play around, settle the wreckage, okay? Alright, Duress and Pithing Needle both sound great here. I don't think Noxious Grasp is quite good enough. And Norn, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hooglandia. Thanks for keeping me employed this month with that. Alright, what am I cutting here? I'm on the draw against a control deck. I'm going to cut a land. Leaves me 2 more cuts. Kalitas probably isn't very good here. So, because Wizard of the Coast is the pinnacle of quality software, there isn't a change password option. You have to select the forgot password option and then reset it that way. Seems good. Turn 1, turn 2. What's going on, top 10 hammer? I think I'm going to lead on Night Market Lookout here. If they have like a removal spell for this, that's fine. This lets me attack for 2 on 2 though. And the change password options is the same screen as 2-factor authentication. That's exactly correct. Pioneer staple, Night Market Lookout here, getting in there. Man. That's a mana base. Yep. That's definitely a mana base. I'm really surprised. I think they made a pretty big mistake by not playing Fate Wishes on 2. Okay, here's Fires of Invention. So if they have an untapped land here, they get Fires and Verdict Me. No, just playing from the deck queue, top 10 hammer. The deck queue is so deep, I had to up the price on decks to submit them, so... Definitely just playing deck queue decks for the foreseeable future. Like, I was thinking of playing in some of the PTQs. I just, like, looked at the deck queue and I was like, no, yeah, that's just not happening. Yeah, they found fires and their next land, so they're just not getting punished for their mana base, unfortunately. Make us discard and then draw here, I think. I have a land I don't need. Discarded Elspeth Sun's Champion, yep. Yep. What do you wish for, opponent? Clary on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, second Rankle here is great. Do I even want to make us draw? I'm definitely making us discard. I'm not even sure I want to make us draw. Yeah, I think I do. It deals a damage too. I just like don't have another good threat in my hand at the moment. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. The number of cards in this format that are just like cards from the last year really shows how pushed things have been recently. Probably did at this point. Okay. Surprised they're not playing this out. Mutavault. Alright. Get to end that. It shows how useless play design is as a concept. I think that's an overreaction. My position on what's recently happened with Magic is I'm definitely firmly in the camp of I don't expect there to not be issues because Magic's a really complicated game with a lot going on. But I do, however, think that their response time, Wizards of the Coast has not been agile enough, in my opinion, to get our corporate buzz speak on. I like, if they're not banning cards on occasion, they're not pushing the envelope enough. I don't think it's a failure for them to have to ban Magic cards. I do think when they let Standard rot for 3 weeks, though, when they know there's an issue, I think that's a failure. So I wouldn't call what happened, I wouldn't call having to address issues in Standard a fundamental failure, but I would say letting those issues persist as long as they have, I would consider that to be a failure. Has this format been significantly more fun than Modern so far? So, like, I'm gonna say yes, but I'm saying yes to has this format been more fun than Modern is like asking me, do I enjoy something more than closing my hand in a car door? Yeah, most things are more enjoyable than closing my hand in a car door. Modern's really not in a good spot and hasn't been for some time, in my opinion. So do you not think the design of Oko is a failure of the design of Magic at a base level? Try note, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. There's going to be a lot of people out there that disagree with me on this take, but I don't actually think Oko is that bad, especially in non-rotating formats. I think a lot of the hate for Oko in non-rotating formats is more related to the fact that people that play non-rotating formats dislike change in general, more so than the card is too good. I also think Oko's very close to being a fine card with very small tweaks. I think playing with powerful cards is fun, and I think Oko's a super powerful card, and I think playing with cards like Oko is enjoyable. I think a lot of the issues surrounding Oko stem from the fact that green is pushed in just every direction right now, more so than Oko itself has a fundamental problem. Like the issues in the current standard format run deep, and even in Magic in general. Like once upon a time is not okay. Just full stop. It is not remotely an okay Magic card. Does Twitch let me upgrade my subscription earlier? Do I need to? I believe you can upgrade to the higher level Soul of Dragonite. You'll need to do it from a desktop computer, though. That was actually a pretty good draw, because now I get to go Scrapheap, and then on turn 3, I get to go land, Lookout, fire up Mutavault, crack for 7. It's a really good start for us here. If you are someone who your deck suddenly being worth $0 would cause you financial distress, I would not recommend buying into Pioneer. And Pioneer exploded super quickly in popularity, and for good reason. The format's been fun, but they were very upfront about the fact that they were going to manage this format aggressively, and they're doing that. So until January, there's likely going to be weekly bans. Opponent just concedes, yep. I am planning to wrap up with Mythgard tonight, Waffle. I'm just not sure exactly when. Depending on what the viewer count looks like, I might do another Pioneer deck tonight, but if the viewer count stays low, we're probably going to jump right to Mythgard after this. I don't even think Oko squashes fair decks. I think that's an unfair assessment. I think if you're playing cards that can kill him, like, he just leaves a food behind, and it's not a big deal. Yeah, if they don't ban Once Upon a Time, if they don't ban Once Upon a Time in Standard on Monday, I'm probably not playing much Standard until the next set drops. Green is still going to be the best thing to be doing in Standard by a lot if they don't ban Once Upon a Time. I think the big thing that makes Oko so pushed in the current Standard format is there is not a critical mass of good 1-mana spells in Standard in every color. The best 1-mana spells in Standard are green. That's the big problem with Oko in Standard. I think banning Veil once an Oko would be enough. A big part of why I think Oko is pretty okay in like Pioneer and Modern is because there's a critical mass of playable 1-mana cards in most colors. I think that's fine though, Marty. I think turn 3 Nissa is like pretty okay when you can Noxious Grasp her. I also think like turn 3 Nissa requires you to Goose or Grazer on one, which are like both pretty medium without Oko. Having double Copter here is great, he says before he gets Culligan's commanded. Hopefully they have something that makes this Fatal Push live. Sweet. Get to the chopper. To the chopper. They reprint Nykthos, we end up having a different conversation about Nissa. Why do you think that is? I think all the issues surrounding Nissa in this format, or Nykthos in this format, are 100% related to the card Burning Emissary. And nothing else. Rude. Guess that doesn't kill a Copter later, at least. So, lands are good. Things that crew Smuggler's Copter are good. Sure. Mutavault's probably one of our best draws here. Today, a patient at work said 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. And I said I'd only ever heard one other person say that, to which she replied, are they from Illinois? Accurate. I would believe that that's a Midwest thing. Found a use for our Fatal Push here. I'm not sold on this half of Michigan being the Midwest. Fair. What do they got? Witch's Vengeance. Creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until end of turn. Do people really think this card is playable? I've had multiple people recommend this card in my YouTube comments. I don't understand why we think this card is good. I feel like it's gonna be worse than Bile Blight a lot of the time. It kills all the elks? Yeah, that's accurate, I suppose. We just, like, take a moment to appreciate just how unreal scrappy this deck is. I'm gonna bank Kalitas for now. Yeah, I'm gonna go land Thoughtseize this turn. Yeah, this deck's real good against control decks. Those are Pioneer Legal Magic the Gathering cards you have there, opponent. Definitely Pioneer Legal cards. Take my remaining pocket change for no reason other than you're awesome. Thanks, Deep Prince. I appreciate it. Get some auto yields on these. I got hooked on this stream by Kalitas the Hillbilly Vampire. Oh, Kalitas. Oh, Kalitas. How did the approach deck went today? We had some really good games with it. Got to test some stuff. Felt reasonable overall. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to hold that land. Loot it away to the Copter next turn. I don't think it really matters. Do we play a Cars deck on stream? I mean, we're kind of playing a Cars deck now. But no, we haven't played like a Smuggler's Copter plus Hardicaran deck. Do you have an automatic way to detect deck bumps with shillings? Yeah, when you put in the shilling bump, it asks you to list what deck it's for. How do you put in a shilling bump? There's an option when you use it in chat. When you click on your shillings thing to redeem them. Come smuggle away. Come smuggle away. Come smuggle away with me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, I have a dashboard at the end, Tesla. So as long as you put the right deck in on your bump, I can check my dashboard at the end. It's always right to loot even when our hand's empty, because if we hit a creature, it fuels the Scrapheap Scrounger. So their hand is Scarab God, Nicol Bolas, then one card we don't know. Any issues surrounding shillings, please direct them to Twitch directly. 4 Fatal Push out, 4 Duress in, click submit. Kalitas seems worse than Rune Raider. Click submit. In. Opponent registered a bunch of 5-mana spells. We have a resistant scrappy aggro deck. I think Dark Confidant would be reasonable in Pioneer. Yeah, probably. Evening Ornell. You feel about Monastery Mentor in general? I think it's a little bit slow and clunky in general. I think that card without free spells is a hard sell. The fact that there's no Lightning Bolt in this format makes it a little bit better than it is in Modern, just because, like, if you can trigger Prowess once, it doesn't die to Wild Slash, which is nice. Oh, you know what? I should have let on Swamp here and not Urborg, because Urborg actually let their Fabled Passage tap for black, so they could have Fatal Push there. So gave my opponent the potential ability to curve out there that they didn't have if I would have let on Swamp. Didn't reassess my land drop when I drew the Swamp for the turn. Merfolk Secret Keeper. Let the 0-4 flow through you. We had an okay run with a Mardu, like, token burn prowess deck that's playing, like, the 8 prowess 1-drops and, like, Young Pyromancer Monastery Mentor. Replay for that's up on YouTube, as always. So, like, on a scale of 1 to dead, this Smuggler's Copter is just, like, super dead, right? What if I just, like, Murderous Rider this 0-4 and, like, attack them for 1? I think we just do that. I think, like, if they don't get to, like, spend their mana killing the Smuggler's Copter this turn, it's, like, super bad for them, right? They just, like, do nothing with their mana this turn and just, like, kill Night Market Lookout. That's, like, fist pump good for us, I think. Hey, Syndication. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having an excellent weekend wherever you're at in the world. We probably have some newer viewers in chat or watching tonight, since I'm not frequently on at this time of day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic and other card games full-time here on Twitch. I'm generally here Monday through Friday about 7 or 8 a.m. till about 2 or 3 p.m. Central Time. If you're enjoying my stuff and that time frame doesn't work out for you, you should be sure to check out my website and my YouTube channel tonight after we're done. Lots of great content in both of those places. Basically, everything I stream gets archived and gets cut up by deck, so it's very easy to find. Just the decks or formats that you care about. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to link that up, Syndication. Twitch Prime pays my mortgage these days, so thanks for keeping me around. I'm gonna, like, regret this when they, like, play a what's it called next turn? Like, play a Nicol Bolas, but let's just get our hit in here. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of people that don't normally catch live here right now. Just by virtue of the fact that it's a little bit off time for me. I do appreciate the folks that drop in and sub, even though they primarily watch on YouTube. And for folks that do watch on YouTube, you should know I do read the comments. Read and moderate the comments. So every message that's posted on my YouTube channel is something that I read, and I remove the things that are less than polite. Languish, yep. So one of these Murderous Riders is mine, one of them is my opponent's. Not that you can tell that by looking at it, Cosmodo, but so they've got one Drown in the lock. They've got a Murderous Rider here. I've got Scrapheap Scrounger in my bin with a Night Market Lookout to bring back, to exile to bring it back, so that's great. Well, that's unfortunate. Thanks, Syndication. So already through 2 of our 4 Murderous Riders, which is not great for us. Yeah, Kalitas kinda kills us. With the removal spell in hand for them still. Oh. Wow, that's a huge mistake. Yeah, I should have been thinking about drawing a discard. I wanted to, like, lose 1 less life, but losing a life doesn't matter. Let's go to game 3 on the play. Yeah, it's a pretty big mistake. So should have castled so I could Duress their drown there, or like Thoughtseize their drown. It's fine. Live and learn. Sequencing, chat. Sequencing. Sure. Copter's really good in this matchup. And, like, if we like draw a land and fail to draw a creature, we just like Murderous Rider on 3 and get crew the Copter that way. Hey, thanks for the 3 months, Ketchik. Welcome back. I am going to have some later nights next week. Because next week, what's the word I'm searching for? Next week, I'm going to be playing in the Standard Twitch Rivals tournament. Hey, Pile of Gore, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. So, I got rid of the K command because Copter's pretty okay against Languish. They fetched a mountain. So those lands don't cast around on the lock. Wonder if they have a fatal push here. I think Eldrazi Sky Spawner. Is reasonable inclusion over Champion of Wits and Deep Fiends, extra flying idiot we can emerge off of. I don't think that's good enough. I think 3 mana creatures that don't generate value when you emerge off them aren't good enough. And like a random 1/1 Scion does not count as value. It's just not good enough. I think Kalitas is worse than Murderous Riders here. I think we just do this and get in with Copter. So they have Dig, Scarab God, Drown, Languish at the moment. Okie doke. Another threat that doesn't die to Languish is pretty good. Why do you think no Heroic / Feather deck is taken off? I feel like God's Willing and Presence line up well. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things to explore in this format, and decks that are probably just like upgrades to standard decks are probably low on the priority for people's list to test. They're not particularly exciting. Those are all cards that people like, just got done playing with in standard. I agree with you that I would be surprised if there's not something there. But I also think like they're not super exciting to like try and explore either. I think saying everybody is playing anything right now is a little bit of an overstatement. I think there's a lot of different things a lot of people are playing at the moment. We're breeding my Mutavault. Okay. I assume they're going to drown in the lock one of my 2 Smuggler Copters here before we attack. And they can languish away these 2 creatures. Again, always want to loot here because we could hit, even though I probably want to keep this Murderous Rider, we could hit a, what's it called? A Scrapheap Scrounger, another graveyard value card. Huh? Do I want to keep this Murderous Rider? Hey, thanks for the 14 months, neighbor. I kind of want to just play the Mutavault. I guess tempoing the Scarab God's pretty good, though. Yeah, getting through a Kalitas is pretty important, I agree. And, like, they're going to get to dig next turn. I guess they're probably going to languish next turn. I don't know. The upside to keeping the Mutavault is if I keep the Mutavault after they languish me, I could like crew with Mutavault, attack for 3, and then like bring back Bloodsoaked Champion guaranteed. So like I'm really hoping to draw a 1 mana creature here so that way I can like crew the Copter, attack, and then bring back the Bloodsoaked Champion. That'll work too. I like watching Pioneer because I didn't play between original Innistrad and Ixalan block, so you get to see a lot of cards I never play with. The decks are quite varied. I agree with that. Everyone, yeah, I agree. And there's just a lot of people exploring a lot of different things still too. Just gonna keep holding on to the Murderous Rider because I have they have Scarab God in hand. The Scrapheap Scrounger hit means unless they find something to exile it, we're going to get to keep recurring our things over and over and over again. Hey, thanks for the 15 months, Greg. I really appreciate that very generous tier 3 resub. Hope you're having an excellent Saturday wherever you are. I mean, we have the Shadowlands. I think the Shadowlands are super playable. I've heard a lot of people asking about fast lands. I think the Shadowlands are super playable. Choked Estuary, Porttown and Friends. Fortified Village, all that jazz. Anger's a very good hit there. Really just looking for anything to crew the Copter again here. That's a great one, so lets me bring back the other Bloodsoaked Champion. I'm having success with God Eternal Oketra mixed with Growth Chamber Guardians and counter synergies. What's your interaction would be my question. Like, those threats don't seem good enough if they're not backed up by good interaction. Again, just on the always loot plan. Binning the Duress again. So their hand right now is Dig plus Scarab. I'm honestly surprised they left Scarab God in against us. Seems kind of loose. So they're going to 1 here. And then, like, they have to be able to kill the board plus deal with Copter because they know my last card is Murderous Rider. They could just, like, give the gods hexproof for protection from multicolored to make it not die to Oko, right? I also feel like it's been so long since people were hurt by Esper that people are forgetting that, like, a lot of the things that Oko makes unplayable, 3-mana Teferi was making unplayable before Oko ever existed. So, like, I don't know. Like, if you get rid of Oko, a lot of the things people are thinking about that are going to be playable, they're still really not. That's pretty good. So I assume they have another removal spell for this then, right? Their last card is Scarab God. Yep. Needed a 4th land there. If we would have taken that Mutavault earlier, we probably would have won this game. I don't know that it was wrong to do what we did, but alright, so this is due at the beginning. When it dies, return to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna Murderous Rider this now, because that way if we draw Thoughtseize, we can get rid of it. So it'll come back at the end step. If we draw a land here, they're dead. Do. Easy game, easy life. This card's great. I think I'm probably gonna play a Rankle Aristocrats deck in the Twitch Rivals thing next week in Standard. This card's just fun to cast. Just run some people down. Hey, sweet. Brian Corval tweeted that he went, he's a previous Invitational winner. Center screencast. He tweeted he went 6-2 at the Invitational with the blue-red Emerge deck, which is sweet. You love to see it. Sounds great. Rankle kind of feels like Bob and Pioneer. That's a take. I think I'm supposed to lead on a threat in situations like this. What do we think? Am I supposed to lead on a threat or am I supposed to lead on a Thoughtseize? So it's always the threat, right? Like the recursive threat at that. If they have Fae of Wishes, I'm gonna be pretty sad I didn't Thoughtseize. Oh, I should have led on Urborg so I could Mutavault on too. Probably doesn't matter because I'm gonna Scrapheap next turn anyways, but whale poop. I think it's just that one. That's the one. That's the one that impacts the board the most. Hey, the fact that they were on the play means their 3-drop tribal's probably fine here, bub. Really? We're casting a spell. Okay. Interesting. That is a decision. I feel like that's I'm super happy they did that, so I feel like that's not ideal. Feel like I would have been in a worse spot if they just like held up Spell Queller. I think this is a good matchup for the mono black side, having played it from the other side. Yeah, I'd believe that. I think the position we were in was like kind of medium there. But like they elected to play their Teferi out, which makes it kind of pretty fine for us. So, like, I think I send Scrapheap at Teferi and I send the others at them. I think is the way I want to split this. Being timed out is like playing Modern. It happens and then you can do nothing. Modern me, please. Modern me, daddy. Modern me. So we know they have Spell Queller. They also have 2 other cards we don't know. So now the question becomes, do I just jam Rankle here because it's a 3/3, or do I jam Knight? I think I just jam Knight, right? Because like if they don't have like a Deck in Stone, the Knight's going to be pretty hard for them to deal with the threat of an activation here. I can like just start attacking with like Scrapheap plus Knight plus Bloodsoaked Champion. I don't know, Knight kills them pretty quickly. They're at 12. Like if they don't have Deck in Stone, the Knight's going to be pretty miserable for them from here. Amazon with enough friends can kill it. We need about Glint Sleeve Siphoner and some Aether Hubs. I think Aether Hub is a pretty high cost. I think Glint Sleeve Siphoner is an interesting card. I'm not sure if this is the right deck for it. I am of the opinion that Glint Sleeve Siphoner is the best energy payoff in this format, though. So I just assume they have another Spell Queller here, right? I think I'm pretty okay with that Spell Queller getting this. I have a Night Market look on my bin with Scrapheap Scrounger, so I'm going to get to bring the other one back next turn. Then we can just, like, jam Rankle and smash. But Mutavault Tower. Is there a Dynavolt Tower Glint Sleeve Siphoner deck? Can we build that? Probably not. They drew a third Spell Queller. That's kind of brutal. That's pretty unfortunate. They have Castle here to block Night endlessly. I'm probably cashing in this Night. Well, the more you know. Read. That was definitely petty. Man, the top of their deck has just been nothing but gas. Land's actually a pretty good draw here because it lets me go Knight plus Kalitas. I definitely missed some points of damage. Because, like, I should have been attacking with my Knight before playing the Kalitas. Is an Azorius... the opponent's deck? No, the opponent's deck is not currently in the deck queue, no. At least I don't think... I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in there. Offhand, I don't believe it is, but... With Teferi in play... I don't get my spells back when their Spell Quellers die, which is unfortunate. I do get zombies when they die, though. What if I just smack them with everything? I don't know, figure it out. Yeah, we can stack Mutavault to Kalitas as a trick. We can double pump Knight here. So they've got a few things to consider. Bloodsoaked comes back. Yeah, they have to chump block the Knight. Otherwise, it's lethal because of the Night Market Lookout trigger. Why wouldn't they crew with Brazen Borrower? Do they not realize Brazen Borrower can't block? So I get a zombie. They go to 3. I get to bring back Bloodsoaked Champion. I get to play Bloodsoaked Champion. Go. Yeah, like, their draws were pretty exceptional that game, and we still just, like, ended up killing them in the end. Alright. Definitely want a bunch of Noxious Grasps here. Is it crazy to cut, like, some mix of pushes and Thoughtseizes? What's the mix, though? I kind of want to just, like, coward split it and, like, go 2 push and a Thoughtseize out. What do we think of that? Think that seems fine. I tried the flash deck, and playing against mono black felt unwinnable, so I stopped playing it. Yeah, I believe that. Is this good enough? This is probably in the range of keepable. I don't know. I feel like this is like hand sucks keep territory. Right? Did someone call me? Like, that's what this hand is, right? It's like, well, now it's great. I can see Thoughtseize being better than push. I did approach too. We had a really good set of games with it. A couple of the changes I made were underwhelming, but overall, I was pretty happy with the games that we played. Huh? Playing Copter's bad if they Teferi. I think that after Oko goes, Rankle a card, it's already fantastic, is going to shine so much more in Standard. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Oko is great. Yep. Might have been right to double 1-drop here because of this card. I want to work on assuming that they ban enough green stuff. I want to work on bad improbable alliance decks in Standard again. I love that card. Dear Watsy, do the right thing. Ban Once Upon a Time, please. That land is gorgeous. Playing Pioneer, I want to jam Brazenborn and everything. Yeah, I agree. Card's great. It's going to be really sad when they only ban Oko. I agree. Just banning Oko is not enough to fix Standard. Standard's issues run deeper than that. You're expecting Oko and Veil? I'd like Oko Veil once. Oko Veil once would make me happy. I think if they got rid of Oko Veil and once, they could probably leave Nissa where it is. Maybe I'm supposed to keep this one in my hand for loot value there. That's probably what I'm supposed to do. I agree, Bob. I don't know. I think this is just like a random top-end bomb. Like, formats need top-end bombs to end games. Kill her in response to her trigger here. This lets them eat my knight, but then they take a hit from the Copter, which is fine. Are there any good 4X Scion decks? I mean, not until we know it gets banned. Are you talking about in this format? In this format, I have no idea. I think Keysnish are on 4 copies of Once in Historic. Yes. Not close. And control decks being good is miserable. And I would consider control decks not being good enough a feature, not a bug. I think formats where control is tier 1 tend to suck. Is my lukewarm Magic take of the day. Yeah, you can play crappy flash decks if you want to do that, Bob. I'm all about Drago. Just like, you know, kill me before I die of old age, please. That's where I'm at. I hope they do what they did with Reflector Mage, and they don't just ban the green stuff. They're like, okay, we also need to ban these other things because these other things are going to be too good once we ban Oko. Like that. That's what needs to be done, in my opinion. Thanks for the free loot. Ban War of the Spark, Veil, and Oko. Tell me how you really feel, Bob. Tell me how you really feel. Attack you, attack you, attack Gideon. So Ray can add a note to my deck to allow submissions that you think are needed. Most deck sites allow you to leave comments, but yeah, I make edits to every deck just as a heads up, especially in new formats. I think I'm gonna have us both discard and have us both sacrifice a creature. Like, we're ahead on board, so let's just like take them with us. Giving Rankle the D, huh? Wow, and they're out of cards, huh? Man, this deck just, like, grinds people into the dirt. It's kind of unreal. This deck just has a level of grind that's just, like, kind of not okay. Just gonna do this now before they get to untap. And like draw a counterspell or an Avacyn or something. Like I could maybe get them inside of combat with this if I'm like want to be tricky, but I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, I think this was the longsword deck for the weekend, Bob. Not close. I think not close. This was the longsword deck for the weekend. This was the most longsword. Longsword is, I don't even know if it's a generic it's a vernacular that my playgroup uses that it refers to just like objectively the best deck that's just like from a pure power level perspective. It's a Dungeons and Dragons reference. Because, like, there's lots of ways to kill your opponent when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, but, like, the longsword is just the most efficient of them. It's not flashy, but it definitely gets the job done, basically. Alright, so they're dead. Yeah, they're dead. We're gonna Murderous Rider the Avacyn and kill them. Nice blue-white deck. I think if they want to nerf this deck, they probably end up just banning Smuggler's Copter. This card was banned in Standard. So I wouldn't be surprised. They're just like, yeah, let's get rid of it here too. I think this deck leverages Mutavault really well. Mutavault was on my list of cards that was really underplayed in this format early on. I don't think they're going to ban Thoughtseize, though. I don't know that you really need Myth Realize as a win condition. Yeah, I didn't start till late, Tesla. I think we're gonna finish up this league and then probably play a couple hours of Mythgard to wind down the night, since I had to cancel my second Mythgard day earlier this week. The sand's great by its stuff. The fact that the card named Night Market Lookout gets to drive the getaway car is just like, it's just so incredibly on point. Thoughtseize is good for the format unless you want people to play decks where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Maybe I'm supposed to save that push for their Smuggler's Copter. Yeah, there's a chance I'm supposed to save that push for their Copter. I think I'm actually just going to do this and smack them here. Let's just get aggressive with Rankle coming down next turn. Yeah, we have an okay viewer count for the fact that this is like not one of my normal stream times. The way Twitch works when you stream on a time that's like not one of your regular slots, you tend to be a bit lower. It's to be expected. I'm gonna go and attack with Knight of the Ebon Legion here. They want to crew this. I can actually, I guess this attack is loose because if they have Fatal Push, I kind of just get savaged here. My attack's like really bad against Fatal Push. Yeah. Guess you like lose infinite tempo now. Yeah, that was a bad play. I should have just like played Copter Scrapheap, I think. Little bad. Thanks for the 21 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I just wanted to get a couple more decks in since I took Thursday off, so got 2 more done. I think what we had, there were 24 Pioneer decks in the queue when we started tonight. So down to 22 after this. Wow, took Rankle when they have Smuggler's Copter in play. That's a decision. Yeah, I really like the mix of removal in this format, Bob. The fact that all the removal you have to play in this format is kind of underpowered means that you get more rewarded in a lot of situations for being more familiar with what threats your opponent is likely to be playing, because then you get more rewarded for lining up your removal correctly. All right, do you have another Fatal Push here as your last card? Yep. And now they get to make me discard my Murderous Rider. Yeah, I feel like the opponent played this game really well and I did not. Well, you know, top deck hero. Do 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 do. Boop 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 do 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 do. Not guaranteed to win here, but I think that puts us firmly ahead with that rip. Listen, chat, if you wanted to see a stream where people get punished for their horrible mistakes, you're gonna want to watch somewhere else because that's not here. Wonder if they're going to make us both draw here since they're behind now. This pressures their life total, though. Yeah, they just need an answer, though. If they find Murderous Rider, they're probably ahead. But if they don't, we're in a pretty good spot. I'm just gonna do this. Because remember, Mutavault is all creature types, so I can sack it to Kalitas. So they get a loot here. If they find Murderous Rider, they're still in the game. If they don't, they lose. Hey, Fire Emblem, glad you're enjoying it. We actually started with that list tonight. Zombie, 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 heh, heh. Well, they could have Rider Kalitas before damage, right? Oh, you're saying they were at 5? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, because they didn't block the Scrapheap Scrounger. Yeah, I think maybe they're supposed to, like, play to that out, like, not block the Kalitas and, like, take their loot and, like, just try and hit it. I think my opponent played well up until that point, though. Thoughtseize seems pretty mediocre here. How do I feel about Leyline of the Void? I don't know if that's the axis we're supposed to fight this matchup on, but, like, I don't really have anything else in my sideboard here for the mirror, huh? It's like a Rune Raider and 3 Leylines. I definitely think this sideboard is not well constructed for the mirror. You want to just hit submit? Yeah, I'm on the draw. Yeah, I'm in for hit submit. Down for it. Drop Copter and bring in Needle. That sounds awful. Let's not cut my best card. What would you play for the mirror? Well, Grafdigger's Cage is symmetrical, so probably not that. Probably just more removal. This seems great. Which figure seems fine? Just more Doomblades seems appropriate. Yeah, Liliana the Last Hope. That's a good. I like Liliana the Last Hope as a suggestion. Grinds a little bit, fuels our graveyard synergies. Could be okay. Grasp of Darkness seems great. Yeah, I've seen some builds play that. You can play more copies of Kalitas. I think it's not unreasonable. Legion's End. Yeah, there's a lot of good cards you can play. For sure. Legion's End grabs like all the copies out of the bin too, right? It's like super over the top. I'm just gonna cast my Fatal Push here. Where they play Kalitas and we concede. Really? No Kalitas. Ding. Ultimate Price misses. Ultimate Price misses, what's it called, unfortunately? Misses Copter, right? Yeah. And Cast Down misses the legendary things you want to kill. Yeah, Grasp or Legion's End are probably the cards you want to play if you want more removal. If my opponent doesn't have another removal spell, we're in a pretty good spot here. I don't think I want to play around a sweeper here. I could have pumped this up, but I think I want to just, like, fill the board up here. So I just go, like, one drop, bring back Scrapheap Scrounger. I guess because I'm playing another Knight, maybe I'm supposed to, like, pump this, play other Knight, and, like, get counters on both of them. So I guess this doesn't really have text anyways. Yep. Red Rover, let Scrapheap come over. I guess they might save Scrapheap to crew Copter. Doesn't seem unreasonable. Evening Tempest. We got a Night Market Lookout and a Rankle in here to bring back Scrapheap. Yeah, Legion's End was a standard staple. How do you feel about that one, chat? I actually think if you want to prepare for the mirror, you should just play 4 copies of this card, probably. That's probably number one best thing you could do to hedge the mirror is just play more copies of this. This card's playable in other matchups too. Just like good against all the red decks. It's good against anyone that's doing creature graveyard stuff. Is Night Market Lookout really better than Vicious Conquistador? It is because of Smuggler's Copter. Because of how crew works. Yeah, Kali, this is a format staple. Has this card price spiked yet? I assume every playable mythic in this format just costs infinite dollars now. That's my base assumption. My base assumption is that every playable mythic costs infinite dollars now. All right, what's your last one here? Sure. 24 buckaroonies, yep. I think Kalitas, Legions, and Grasp of Darkness, you're someone that's like a spike looking to break this mono black mirror, assuming they ban nothing on Monday. Those are the 3 cards I would start with. Evening Fall Not Dead. Thanks for the 3rd of the year. Welcome back. It was $20 before Pioneer. Yeah, I'd believe that. Vampires, dragons, and angels tend to stay expensive because of casual magic. I don't know, Bob. This deck was 9 out of the top 32 in the PTQ. And like, it was the most, it had the highest, it was the most common deck in the 6/1/1 and better deck list from the Invitational. I'd be surprised if they don't ban something out of this on Monday. I feel a little bit bad. We just like drawn much better than our opponent in these games. I feel like our opponents played better than we have, and our draws have just been very good. Hey, chat. Was that a good draw? Do you also have a Swift End? You do not. How do we feel about just attack, you figure it out? Are we at attack, you figure it out territory? I feel like we are. I feel like we are. This attack might be wrong, but it's also almost 10 o'clock, and I'm not taking the time to figure it out. Oh, they had Fatal Push. Okay, we might lose here. Out of whatever deck won the most in a week, ban every fortnight till January. I mean, like, so, and again, what a lot of people don't understand is, a lot of people don't seem to have a good understanding of just how much data there is out there. Like, the amount of matches, it's not just the tournament results that matter, it's also the win rates in leagues. Like, the number of league matches that get played in a given week definitely give Wizards of the Coast enough information to make bans every single week. I'm dead to Fatal Push here, if they draw a Fatal Push off this Castle Locthwain draw. Oh, they can also draw it off the Smuggler's Copter, right? Yeah, opponent played that really well, and we just kind of like drew a lot better than they did. Yeah. Yeah, Disfigure was also lethal there if they had another one of those. They showed us a copy of that. Yeah, playing that mirror, Kalitas felt like the most important card in both of those games. Like, the games we won was like definitely on the back of Kalitas. So I would play more Kalitas. I think Legions and the Grasp of Darkness are the things that I would explore to break the mirror. But this deck's definitely super strong as is. If they don't touch this on Monday, it's definitely the deck to beat. I don't know that any of the cards in this deck are like inherently offensive on their own. Like, if you wanted me to make a list of cards I think are the most obnoxious, Thoughtseize is probably number 1, honestly. I'd be surprised if that's a card they want to get rid of. Yeah, they were smart, but I was thin. Yep. You got it. Well then. I think we just take their Once Upon a Time, right? Since they let us do that. Fully agree with Burgle. Thoughtseize is not the most powerful, but it is the most offensive. Don't auto-pass when you have Once in your hand, chat. You're going to get Thoughtseize and you're going to be sad. A pretty sweet curve here. Get to go Copter into Thoughtseize, Scrapheap, smack you with Copter. Opponent playing Team Oko, it looks like. It's a deck we played with last week. Pithing Needle and Grass sound good here. Kalitas does not sound good. I guess I probably want Fatal Push against their Elves. What else do I want to cut here? Is 3 Pithing Needle too many? Do I want to get rid of Rankle just because it's expensive and they have some flying blockers? Yeah, it only names Elves and Oko. Maybe just killing Oko is better. Maybe I just don't want the needles. If I just, like, bring in 3 Grasp for, like, a land and 2 Kalitas. Well, I mean, it can name Elves, but it doesn't do anything against the Elves. Thanks for the 7 months, Sugwa. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Pithing Needle does not stop mana abilities, so naming an elf with Pithing Needle is not going to lead you to a desired result. Your opponent will be happy, you will not. You like 1 needle because 1 needle goes a long way. I can see that. This hand's great. Urborg Mutavault here, looking sharp and thin. Put a mulligan to 6. We kept because our deck's great. Fatal Push their Dork on 1. Copter, play some things, screw some things, attack, attack, attack. Goodbye. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Ooh, that's a big one. Alright, well, I think with them playing that, I'm actually going to go Night here. Stompy, yep. I'm going to bed? What? This lets them crew this with just like, puts a giant... Oh, I guess Needle names Hardicaran too. Yeah, I'm gonna bring in a couple of needles. Yeah, needle stop screw. We'll bring in a couple of needles for the last game. I think that's fine. Do you have Wild Slash? Doesn't look like it. I'm gonna do this now, so that way it gets out of slash range. Next turn, I can pump up the Knight again and activate Smuggler and cast another Smuggler's Copter, which is nice. Yep, you have a Chandra. Yep. So, Mutavault plus Copter. Let me kill Chandra here. So they get to kill my Copter here, but their Chandra's going down. You definitely can, Wild Growth Watcher. This deck is too good. Can I get a timeout? You definitely can, Scooter. So they technically get to kill both my things here, huh? That's like not too big of a deal because this thing has raid, so we bring it back and then we play the other Copter. And like they're down to one card here, and they kind of have to keep their things back to stabilize the board for now. So my Night Market Lookout just gets to like sit here and needle them, which is sweet. Royal Scions is pretty good, lets them pressure me. Yep. 10 me is pretty good. Yeah, we're dead here. Let's bring in a couple of needles. Over a couple of Noxious Grasp, I think. Nah, like most campaigns, Christy's D&D campaign fell apart. Like most. Life happens. This is going to be our last match of Pioneer for the evening. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's stream with some Mythgard, since I didn't get to do a second day of Mythgard this week, since I had to end my Tuesday stream early. This is going to be the last of my Magic the Gathering for the night. Bottom night here. I think I want double Thoughtseize. Thanks for the 10 months, Claimster. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. For people that haven't been around for Mythgard stream before, Mythgard's an all-digital TCG. I've been playing a good bit of on mobile, and the developers reach out to me to do some sponsored things so I can make some time for it in the stream schedule. It was really, really good gameplay. Has a lot less non-games than Magic. Card pool's not quite as deep because it's a newer game. They only have 400 unique cards, but the gameplay itself is very good. And the software behind it is phenomenal. As someone who spent a lot of time playing with Wizard software products, playing with a quality software product is refreshing. Opponent also went to 6 here. 2 Thoughtseize and a removal spell on top of our threat. Should be in a pretty okay spot here. Go. I think I probably Scrapheap on 2 here. And then we can Thoughtseize plus Smash for 5 on 3. It's my favorite Mythgard archetype. The mid-range decks in Mythgard are fantastic. Really enjoy them. Mythgard's gameplay is so interactive, and the way their resource system works, you don't get punished for, like, having the wrong half problem like you do in Magic, which is great. So opponent has a bunch of nothing in hand. Ewok, thanks for the 16 months, welcome back. When you have 2 Mutavaults in play like this and you just played one of them, the way you make sure you don't activate the wrong one on Moto, if you right-click on it, the new one will say newly controlled. So that can let you validate that you're tapping the right one and activating the right one so you don't accidentally activate a Summoning Sick Mutavault. To play my magenta mid-range deck, I'm just going to play a couple of decks that I have already built a Solar Dragonite. I actually have one Mythgard deck in the queue, but I think I'm just going to, like, start with Big Red. And we'll see where the night takes us. Two Thoughtseizes into a little bit of pressure here. Opponent just, like, basically didn't get to play. Thoughtseize is a heck of a card. And that's games. I mean, obviously my opponent could draw something to, like, have something happen here, but, like, games like this where, like, if my opponent doesn't draw anything or they just, like, effectively didn't do anything, games like this just don't exist in Mythgard, really, which is nice. There's a lot of player agency to it, and, like, these games are very much a part of Magic. Like, you get to run people over where they do nothing, and you get run over where you do nothing. Just comes with the territory here. They draw Wicked Wolf? Okay. So, like, this lets them fight something, tap their thing, but I'm going to hit them for 7 down to 6 next turn, and then I have a Murderous Rider to tap this the following turn, which is nice. So, if the rest of their hand is good, they've got a Stomping Ground and then 1 card I don't know. So if their last card is good, we could still have a game here. Hey, Maris. They're catching us right at the tail end of the Magic section. We're going to roll into some Mythgard after this. Remember, the Wicked Wolf, even though they can sack a food to make it indestructible, it does tap it when they do that, so... If they don't have another good spell here, we're going to get to, like, tap this and then smack them for 5. So they get to eat the food here and keep this alive, but then they're going to 1. Assuming they have no interaction. Then, like, next turn, once this is a blocker, I'll be able to, like, play Murderous Rider, play Scrapheap Scrounger, and then, like, have a bunch of threats to, like, deal the last point the following turn. Assuming they play out blockers, that is. Once upon a time, there was a... Stomping Ground, ain't it, Chief? So they need double removal to not be dead? That was the easiest 5-0 I've had in a long time. I felt like the only match that was close was the Mirror, and it was close because I played pretty poorly and the opponent in the Mirror played really well. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if the Magic Online data that they have from leagues doesn't show this deck winning a lot more than a lot of other things. Like, Thoughtseize is just the best interaction in this format. Fatal Push is the best 1-mana removal spell. This deck's got a ton of great recursive threats that then combine with Mutavault and this Castle and Smuggler's Copter to, like, grind people out. Murderous Rider, also excellent at doing that, so... If you're looking to spike in this format, this is definitely the deck of the week to play. We'll see what happens on Monday because they're aggressively managing this format. So lots of different things could happen between now and then. All right. Update my game category and stuff. Did I not have the Stream Decker overlay activated? I'm surprised no one said anything. Stream Decker wasn't active through all of that. Yeah, Murderous Rider is really good. All the adventure cards